IPCPR Convention and Trade Show. My name is Scott Regina, and I am one of 15 directors on the IPCPR board. Throughout the day, you'll see members of the board around the room with clipboards. Please stop by and see them and donate to the Political Action Committee for the IPCPR. They're all located in the back of the room to the right here. Our schedule today has 4 seminars. First up, how to get and keep good customers, sponsored by Sindicato Cigars. Let's give Sindicato Cigars a round of applause for sponsoring this first session. This morning's guest speaker is Dave Ratner, the CEO of Dave's Soda in Pet City. For more than 4 decades, Dave Ratner has been building an independent, critically and commercially acclaimed pet supply business. With 7 Dave's Soda and Pet City stores and a nationally marketed line of high-quality pet food for dogs and cats, Dave has earned a seat at the table on the National Retail Federation Board. He also sits on the Retail Advertising and Marketing Association Board, where he is the only small business owner representing the independent retailer alongside VPs of marketing from companies such as Home Depot, Walgreens, and Target. As Dave puts it, it's all these big dogs and me. Dave's career spans a humble start in an abandoned gas station selling soda to an enviable independent retail business which earned him the National Retail Federation Silver Award for his outstanding contributions to the retail industry and his induction into the Massachusetts Hall of Fame. Please welcome Dave Ratner.
This is the first time I have been in a room since I can't remember that there's smoke allowed. Think about this. This is. Let's just hope that let's hope the smoke detectors are disconnected. That's all. So, first of all, thank you very much for being here. And before I even start anything, I'm on the board of the National Retail Federation. The National Retail Federation, like your associations, are lobbyist groups. You need to support your state and the federal and whatever organizations that you can. And here is why it's so important for you to give to the pack. I don't want you to think let the big guys do it. Washington hates big business. They love small businesses. They love folks like you and me. You and I have to be active, have to give money to these lobbyists, otherwise nothing gets done. It was the most frustrating thing I have ever been in my life. The first time that I went to Washington, and I was sitting in a room with a couple of senators, this is unbelievable, with the CEO of Macy's, Saks Fifth Avenue, and DJ's Wholesale Club, and a couple of other of these giant. The senators won't talk to you unless you give money. Fact of life. So everyone here has to contribute to their PACs. I don't care how small, how modest, but that's what you have to do it. End of story. So, I consider myself to be the luckiest guy in the world. In 1975, I opened up a store in Hadley, Massachusetts. Who's here from New England? Is Karen here yet? She has a store in my hometown. In Hadley, Massachusetts, where there's Smith, Mount Holyoke, Hampshire College, all these colleges. I had just gotten out of school. I opened up this store selling all different brands of soda, Coke, Pepsi. How many of you remember when Orange Crush was real Orange Crush and it had the orange pulp in it? Stuff? Remember all, right? It was made with real sugar. You could take a swig and feel your teeth rot. I mean, this was soda, not this garbage we have today. So I opened up this store, and then it dawned on me I needed help meeting women. So I bought a puppy. It works. Bentley Beagle and I had a great time. And maybe a year later, I walked into the grocery store to buy Bentley dog food, and I looked down the aisle and I said, holy smokes, there's more pet food in here than there is soda. So I went back to my fancy office, which was a telephone in the bathroom, and I called 9 Lives in Purina, and I went into the pet food business. So just today, soda is counting 2% of my business. I can't compete with the grocery stores for Coke and Pepsi. We sell specialty sodas, and everything else is pet related. It's got nothing to do with tobacco. How many of you have a dog? How many of you have a cat? Right? How many of you know someone who has a dog or a cat? Right? It's like everybody. So my little business, selling just soda in cases of pet food years ago, was phenomenal. And as I look at it back now, why? Here's the good news for you. It was phenomenal because I took such good care of my customers. It's the real small town business, getting to know your customers, having the brands they like, catering to your customers, that made them make a trip to my store instead of buying stuff in the grocery store. So I'm going to run through some ideas of how to get and keep customers. And when I go to a seminar, my goal, and I go to a lot of seminars. You know why I go to a lot of seminars? Because they're so much more fun than going to work. So when I go through this, here's my hope that you'll take home 1 or 2, maybe 3 ideas. Some of these are going to work for you. Some of them won't work for you. And if you get angry at something I say, I'm just begging you. I don't want to come home with cigar burn welts all over me. My wife won't let me in the house. So, basic retail. It's location, 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 and we all know this. Whoever store is easiest to get to wins. Period, end of story. Do you have parking? Are you open the hours that your customers want you to be open? It's a huge deal. You've invested, I don't know if you're like me, I've signed so many loans, my house is on the line, everything I own is on the line. When you go into a business like this is a business. Parking is a huge deal. So another part of my business, I have a wholesale business. I have Dave's Naturally Healthy Pet Food. I travel all over the country calling on independent pet store retailers. So I'm in your world. I get it, it's what I do for a living, and I call on them. When I pull into a store and I see the owners or the employees' cars parked where the customers need to park, it drives me out of my frickin' mind. Park across the street. Your employee should never park where a customer should park. So, if McDonald's and Coca-Cola and Chevrolet and Hyundai have to do some marketing, we have to do some marketing. And I've talked to a few retailers, it's interesting. Some of the retailers said, no, I don't do any marketing. If your business is great, you have no competition, you're showing increases every year, I'm the most jealous guy in the world. If your business is like most businesses, and you want to grow your business, you have to do some marketing. The problem is, most independent retailers are not marketers. How many of you went into the cigar business because you love cigars? Right? How many of you had MBAs in marketing? 1. Oh, sure, make an idiot out of it. All right, there's only 1. So you have to, this is what you have to figure out, and it's pretty easy. You have to figure out who your customers are. You have to figure out what interests them. And you have to figure out where they live and where they like to shop. so that you can target your marketing. You can go broke really quickly doing bad marketing. But you do need to do some marketing. I know you can't advertise with cigars, but what you can advertise is events. How many of you have events in your store? I love it. Great. Everybody's hand should be up. You can advertise events. So I'm guessing many of your customers are males. If you're thinking that nobody listens to radio anymore, most cases you're right, except for talk radio and sports radio. How many guys here listen to sports radio? Raise your hands. Look around the room. You can buy spots on your local sports radio station very inexpensively, unless you're in New York or you're in a large metropolitan area. It's a phenomenal ROI, return on investment. However, a bad ad is worse than no ad. And here is how you have to buy the spots. And I want everyone to write this down. The radio salesperson is going to come in and want to sell you a package. And that package is going to be a whole bunch of spots over a whole bunch of days. That's not what you want to do. You're going to really get the salesman angry at you. Excuse me. You want to buy 1 or 2 spots a day, period, end of story. And you want to own that station for that day or 2 days. This is what we do. We buy 2 days a month. I went to all the media people. I advertise on TV. I'm in the pet business. And we're in Springfield, Massachusetts, and advertising is cheap. But I said, when do you guys not have a lot of ads? They said, well, the beginning of the week, we have way more spots than the end of the week. I said, okay, is it the beginning of the month or the end of the month? They said, it's always the beginning of the month we have more spots, because at the end of the month, the car dealers, everyone wants to make their month end. So I said, great. I want the first and the third Tuesday of every month. I want to own that station. I started doing ads, and I'm telling you, by the end of the 6th or 7th month, people think I spend $1 zillion a year on ads, and I don't. So your ad rep, whose job is to sell ads, he or she is not a marketing person, is going to think you're out of your mind. I'm telling you, because I've learned from some of the greatest marketers in the world, that's how to buy ads. So anytime all you folks who listen to sports radio, on that Tuesday, they're going to hear your ad. So I love to do all my ads because I look so great on radio. I have the perfect face for radio, as my wife tells me. If you have a great personality and you are good doing ads, do the ads yourself. If you don't, please don't do the ads yourself, because I promise you it'll bring shame on your family. You don't want to do it. So what is a good ad? A good ad can be as short as 30 seconds. Don't let them convince you that you need a 60-second ad, because you don't. You only talk about one thing in the ad. Have any of you ever heard a radio ad where someone gets on and says, hey, this is Bob from whatever store, this week's specials, and they rattle off a list of specials? You didn't remember one. Talk about your event. Talk about something that you did. I love the thought of talking about events. If the first Tuesday or the first Saturday of every month is your parlor night or whatever you have, that's what you need to hammer home. So there is a wonderful woman who owns a shop in Agawam, Massachusetts. She said she would be here. I think she's flying in tonight. Her name is Karen. So I went to talk to her. And I said, what kind of marketing do you do? She said, well, I really don't do that much marketing. Here's a couple ideas. Everybody can do these. Every one of your towns has a home show. How many of you have ever been to the home show in your town? Right? Think about it. Everybody who's there owns a home. They get lots of men who come to these shows. Why not have a booth at the home show? Or at the sportsman show at your local coliseum? Or at the camping show? Or at the boating show? Any place that you can get a bunch of people who are potentially your customers in one place is a home run. So we see, Springfield, Mass, cost me $500. I get to see about 20,000 people for $500 for my booth. No brainer, right? And here's the best thing about doing this. The best thing for me is we get to see face to face who our customers are. You know, Americans are great. They love the underdog. All things being equal, we love to buy from people we like. So why not get to meet those people, call a couple of vendors and say, I'm going to the home show. Can I split a coupon with you for a cigar or something else back at the place? Don't put it all on them. Partner with them. So your home shows, it's a phenomenal way to do it. Any of those consumer shows works. This is my favorite. Get other people to do your marketing for you. Partner up with people. I have a cousin who's in the wedding invitation business. I said to her, if Karen from the cigar store called you and wanted to either trade leads or do some sort, she said, are you kidding? In a heartbeat. What a great idea. Google who sells wedding invitations, who are the party planners in your market, and build a relationship with them. This is no money. And I get the fact that some of you are very, very mom and pop. I get the fact that you're busy putting out fires in your store. I do it every day. You have to do this. Did you know that you can rent lists of people who have certain lifestyles in your market? If you Google, what will we do without Google, right? If you Google email lists or lists, a zillion names will come up. You can, for example, get the list of people who subscribe to cigar magazines, to boating magazines, to any kind of magazines that you think. Who's getting married? You can get those lists. You can do it as an email and send an email to them, or you can do it as a postcard. Not big money. So this is what we do, or what I recommend if you don't have a graphics person or someone to do this for you. You all have a community college around you. Every single community college has courses in graphic design, because that's the big, I don't know how many parents have kids who are in computers. You call their placement offices. You say, I'm looking for someone to come in. I'll pay them. I'm looking for someone to come in and help me design postcards and flyers or whatever. Might be $15 an hour, might be 20. They'll get it done, but the fact of the matter is, you can start doing some marketing. This is another, and this just is so funny. You need to speak at every Kiwanis Club, Rotary Club, Chamber of Commerce event. Even if you're thinking, oh, I don't know, I'm in the tobacco industry, I don't know if they're going to like that. They love to hear from small businesses. They love to hear your story. They love to hear that, you know what, I love cigars, I belong to a cigar club for years, I want to open up my own business, here's what I'm challenged with. I'm telling you, they love it. It is an absolutely free way to get new customers. And you just never know who's in those audiences. I speak at every event that I can get. I'm the expert in Western Massachusetts. Anytime someone calls me, I don't care what it is, you know, at the old people's home, I don't care what it is, who would never be my customers, because they might have, their daughter might be with them that might be my customer. You just never know. I just started talking to this gentleman over here, right? He's gonna leave. I already got him a contract to buy 300 pounds of my dog food. You never know. Really important. Get involved in the organizations that your customers are involved in. I promise you, when these organizations have events, the lion's share of the vendors are people who are somehow tied into the board of directors. It's a win-win. You're doing something good, but I promise you it'll come back in spades, because when it's time for something, you'll get first crack at it. So all these things to do take time. And I understand that you're busy running your business. The classic line, I guess, about how to build a bigger business is, you need to do what you're best at and get someone else to do what you're not best at. So if you call, again, the community college or the college and say, I need a marketing intern to help me do these projects, you'll get one. I will warn you that it's going to take a lot of picks to get the cherries, but it does not make sense not to do it. So this is a pet peeve. How many of you ever get people come in and they want a donation? Right? It's unbelievable. So it suddenly dawned on me, the dumbest thing that we could ever do when these people come in and want a donation is to give them cigars. How many of you give out cigars? Gift baskets and stuff? Never, never, never. If I get invited back here, I never want to see a single hand come up. The only way donations work is if you get that person to come into your store. If you give them a cigar, no need to come to your store. Give them a gift certificate. Then at least you get the chance to get them into your store. I hope I just saved everybody a ton of money. And we give out very small gift certificates, so we give to everybody. But at the end of the year, it's not a ton of money because they're such small gift certificates. Okay, now, how do we keep these customers? You know, this is really interesting in your industry. Men are way more loyal than women are. Men love doing business if they're treated right. Men love doing business with independent retailers. They're not as fickle as women. So you have to build a relationship with them. The relationship is a number of things. So I like to say we're not in Vegas. Someone comes into your store, first time, buys, falls in love with your store, spends a bunch of money, say thank you, they leave. So I attribute customers like dating. So the customer leaves, it's like you just went on your first date and just had a wonderful time with the person you're on the date with. and you drop them off, you get a kiss goodnight if you're lucky, and then you don't call them anymore. Does that make sense? You don't call the person anymore? Right? Well, that's the same thing as the customer who comes into your store. You had a great time with that customer. If you don't call them back or email them back or do something back to say, I had a great time, thanks for shopping in my store, I hope we can do this again. You need to have contact information with your customers. Employees. I have 150 employees. I love my business to death. The worst thing about my business is managing 100. I hear somebody's laughing. I hope you're laughing with me, not at me.
That's correct.
Right. Is managing 150 employees. So I will tell you that, again, the good news for you is that your customers are so loyal. But they won't be loyal if you don't have great employees. So everyone knows who Jeff Bezos is? Jeff Bezos founded that little company, Amazon. How many people were on Amazon Prime yesterday? Everybody get any good deals? Right? I couldn't figure out how to do it. So Jeff Bezos gave an interview, and I want everyone to write this one down. And I want you to go back to your crew, even if it's one other person. They said to Jeff Bezos, what's the definition of your brand? And his response was, this is just so classic. The definition of your brand is, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Right? How true is that? So you could be the greatest sales guy, the best person. If your crew isn't that way, you're in trouble. I'm proud to say, my stores win the People's Choice Awards. We're the habitual winner for the best pet shops. I'm the biggest pain in the ass in the world to work for. I want packages carried out to the car for women. If you come into my store for some reason and we don't have what you want, this is actually a funny story. Customer came in and wanted a bag of food that we didn't carry. I said my guy called me and said, what do we do? I said, who carries it? She said she gets it at Petco. I said, run over to Petco, buy it, pay retail, bring it back to her, bring it back to the store, call her, and either deliver it to her house, or if she wants to come back in, and we'll sell it to her for what we paid at Petco. This is the way my mind works. My controller sees this paid out to Petco and sees the receipt for the same price, calls me and says, what the hell are you doing? We're going to go out of business doing this. Which is the mind of the controller. Now, it's how you stay in business. It's how you make your business grow. My employees sign 2 pieces of paper. I want everyone to write this down when they come to work. And you know what? I'm going to preface this by saying, because this happens, you who own your business have to write this down, repeat it to yourself, and understand it. Here's the first one. I understand my job, no matter what I was hired for, is to make sure the customer has such a great experience, they'll tell all their friends to shop here. That's number one. Here's the second thing that they do. This is hard. I understand I am empowered to solve customer problems on the spot. To me, what defines how good customer service is when there's a problem. How well do you take care of problems? So when you enable your employees to solve customer problems, It does two things. It really empowers the employee, they love it. And here's the warning. You're going to get some employees who don't understand that concept. And here's the hard part, folks. They can't work for you. True. They just can't work for you. They're a cancer. So I'll ask this question now, because we can cover this employee thing can go on forever. How many of you have someone back at your place that you know you should fire? Raise your hand. And if they're with you, we'll talk later. How many? Raise your hands high. I want everyone to look around the room to see that we're all in the same boat. So let me tell you how to fire them. I know, I've been there. It's the hardest thing in the world. They're nice people. They depend on you. Here's the deal. If you know you should fire them, anyone else in your organization knows you should fire them. So what you're doing is you're saying to the rest of your crew, I'm not really a very good manager, and if this person can get away with this, everybody else can. If you really like the person, fire them at the beginning of the week so that they can go right on Indeed or Monster or whatever and get a good job. Try and get another job immediately. If you don't like the person, fire them on a Friday so they have to stew over the weekend. And here's what I just love to do. If I really don't like the person, I fire them and I give them a glowing recommendation. Why? Because I want them to get a job with my competition. I'm not as dumb as I look, right? You gotta get rid of it. So here's what's gonna happen if some of you are thinking this. Your employees, after you do the deed, are gonna come to you and say, what took you so long? It happens every time. So do it. There's a website called Caliper. It's a company, caliper.com, that does personality testing online. Not that expensive to do for an employee. I would urge you to put your employees through it and to put, if you're going to hire someone full-time, put them through that test because it'll tell you really quickly if that person is what their customer service skills are. How many of you like a deal every once in a while when you buy? Not everybody? Really? Everybody likes a deal. You have to have deals. You have to pass on manufacturers' promotions. Everybody likes a deal, even your most loyal customers. I learned this the hard way. So we used to have buy 12 bags of a brand of dog food and get the 13th bag free, right? Buy 12 scarves, get the 13th free. Then all of a sudden it dawned on me, I'm a knucklehead. Of course, that dawned on me with my wife's help. So I said, if they've already bought 12 bags, they're gonna buy the 13th. Why not do a buy 12, get a gift certificate to the store? At least I have a shot of getting them to buy something else. Right? It could be the same value. You can go to all your other different vendors and have them kick in a little something, you know, and you can have fun with the different prizes. And people love those deals. I don't even care. I don't care if it's a punch card. I don't care what it is. But don't do the buy 12, get the 13th free. And you know what's funny? I don't know if there's any manufacturer. I had such a hard time getting the manufacturers to understand why that wasn't a good buy, why it wasn't good for them as well. Finally, we were able to convince them. So this is a hot topic, price matching. I'm just curious. If you have a good show of hands, and don't throw anything at me, please. I bruise easy. If you have a good customer who walks in the store and says, hey, I've been buying these cigars from you, blah, blah, blah. I can buy them online at such and such a price. How many of you will match the price? Raise your hands. And how many of you will not match the price? This is a tough one. So we're in the same boat. We have Chewy. I'm just out of curiosity. Anybody buy the pet food from Chewy.com or Amazon? Couple, right? So we have the same deal. What I don't have to deal with is the giant amount of taxes that you have to. Here's my defense for matching the price. If you don't match the price, the customer stays out of your store. You lose them forever. If you do match the price and your store is properly merchandised and you have inventory, you have a chance of them buying something else in your store. And my guess is, with men, you don't have to match the price to the penny. And here's the other thing. If cash flow is an issue, match the price. You need cash. If you're sitting there and cash flow is not an issue, and your business is great, you don't need it, don't match the price. But here's what I want you to think about. The internet is not going away. And it's not women who are home shopping on Rulala and all those sites. It's men. Our customers, your customers, they're shopping online. So there's two things that has to happen. You have to build an e-commerce site, which is not as expensive as you think. But that business is not going away. So people come into my store. So just for example, we have Costco that sells frontline flea and tick stuff. We might get, I don't know, I'm picking a number, we get $50 for it. They get $35 for it or something. It's basically my cost or below. If someone is a regular customer, we match the price. I don't want them going to Costco for that. If it's someone off the street and we've never seen before, don't know if I'd match it. But if it's a regular customer, oh baby, we match it right away. So this is true in all businesses. You just have to worry less about the competition and put your efforts into making your store better. You don't always need to be the cheapest guy in the street. It's not, men are so loyal. You just need to have a great shopping experience at your store. You need to be reasonably priced, not the cheapest. Forget what the guy's doing down the street, except when a salesperson walks into my store, the first question, I want everyone to do this, the first question I ask that salesperson is, what is my competition doing better than I'm doing? Right? They might be doing something better than I'm doing. What are they selling that I'm not selling? They have better displays than I don't have. I'm not interested in what we're doing great. There's no place for ego in our business. Ego will just destroy you. The minute you think you're doing great, you won't be. It's what am I doing poorly that I can do better? So this is kind of funny too. I learned this, again, this was born out of frustration of me walking into a pet store who didn't sell, an independent pet store, just like you guys, except they sell pet food, who didn't sell my product, and I would present my product to them, and they'd say, no, we're not taking in anything unless customers ask for it. And I don't know, I was reading Mac, and I saw this quote, and I thought, the best way to get your customers not to spend any more money is don't have anything new. You always have to keep your store fresh. You always have to have new things. And here is why it's so important for you to have a wonderful relationship with your vendors. Because if you can bring something in and it doesn't work, maybe they'll help you get rid of it. What a novel thought. Ask your customers, what else do you want me to carry? Duh. Right? And how do you do that? Well, you do it one way, by asking them when they're in the store. If you have their email address, you can, anyone ever heard of SurveyMonkey? You can do this, look it up, Google it, SurveyMonkey. You can do an online survey, and your men customers love you so much that they will take the survey. And you can ask them in that survey, what else should we carry? We have a Club Dave card. It's like a Walgreens or CVS card or a grocery store card. We capture 90% of our customer transactions. 90%. We have a rewards program. After you spend $300 or whatever it is, you get a $5 card mailed to you. When someone comes in and redeems that $5 rewards card, their average transaction is $7 or $8 more than if they don't have the rewards card. And it absolutely keeps them coming back. If you're thinking my customers don't want to give their email addresses, you're wrong. Your customers want to know about events. They want to know if there's a promotion on the brand that they have, they smoke. They want to know about what's going on in your life. They always want to know about what's new. And it's so easy to do. It's constant contact, folks, is the name of the company that we use. It's a huge deal. Customers want to hear from you. They want that relationship. You need to do that. So I don't know what else you can buy. What else in your store? I don't know if you're thinking about it. How many booths are downstairs that it's going to have new stuff that's in there? I've learned this. When you bring these new things in, and this is for what it's, you need to have a phenomenal relationship with your vendors. Because you're going to want to partner on a lot of this marketing stuff with your vendors. And partnering does not mean they're going to pay for all of it. It means partnering. This is going back to emails. How do you get customers' email? I hate this when this happens in my store. Or, I don't know. Have any of you ever gone to how many of you shopped at Barnes & Noble? Did you ever notice every time they walk in there, they say, would you like to sign up for the Barnes & Noble card? Right? It's $25 or something. And what do you say? No. So the dumbest way to get customer emails is you never say, do you want to sign up for our email list? Well, there's no benefit. No, I don't want to sign. I don't want any more emails. Well, instead of that, it's, how would you like us so we can notify you when the brand that you smoke goes on sale or we're having an event? Okay, sure. All right, we need your email. Done. They sign up. Your job is to not send out stupid emails. Don't sell the email list. But it's to communicate with them. And almost everybody will sign up. I'm also urging you to get a club. Like we have our club. A frequent, some sort of, I don't call it frequent buyer, but it's some sort of rewards club. That will keep customers coming back to you. They love it. They love getting the freebie reward certificate. There are dozens of companies. When you get back to your store, if you Google lock, L-O-C, card.com, they have a tablet that you can use, that you can set up like that, a rewards program. And it's made for independent retailers. It's not for the big guys. So, how many of you are in small communities? When you're in a small community, you can do cable TV advertising really quickly and cheaply. Can't do it in a big community, but in a small one, you can buy cable TV spots on, let's say, ESPN or wherever the male viewers are. We buy them for like $6 a spot. It costs me about $200 to have the commercial made. It's a no-brainer. And I do the same thing with TV. I'm on the same first and third Tuesday. So wherever anybody looks, that first or third, they see me. And we're the expert. So here's the deal with, they're going to do the same thing if they come in and they want to sell you cable TV. They want you to be on it. I don't know why. Don't be on it unless you have the right personnel. What you do want to be on, you do want to show your store. Which means that your store has to look great. You do want to see if you can get some sort of event going on in your store. You want to show why your store is different. You can do all that. Here's another just a fabulous way to keep your customers coming back. I interviewed the buyer for Bay State Healthcare, which is the largest employer. Everybody's healthcare system is the largest employer wherever they live. Hundreds of thousands of employees. This woman has every buyer in the world coming to her. So I said, do me a favor, tell me what is a good salesperson. What do you like to deal with? She said, the people that I like to do business with the most are the folks that add value to what I do. So what else in your store, what other value, who can you team with that your customers would like? Right? For no money, because you're going to partner with these folks. It's like, duh, I have to do this. I want to go back to the employee part. I think half the room raised their hands about firing the employees. Before you fire anybody, I want to make sure, I want to keep you on a court. I want to make sure that everyone has an employee manual. How many of you have an employee manual? Great. Everyone should have an employee manual. Make sure that you have documented everything that this person has done. Understand that the person is going to be able to collect unemployment. If it's the person of an opposite sex, try and have someone of the opposite sex in the room with you when you fire that person. Always, always remember this famous quote, be slow to hire and quick to fire. Probably nothing you can do because so many men are your customers is going to be better for your business than getting rid of bad employees. And I just, it's the worst thing to do. But I can't tell you, and my email is dave@daveratner.com. Email me after you do it. Because of all the talks that I do all over the country on how to improve your businesses, I get more emails back from people in my seminars about, thank you, we finally did it. And you were right, the rest of the crew came to me immediately and said, what took you so long? So, we have 5 minutes left. Hugely important. Never, ever, ever be out of stock. When you go into a store and there's holes on the shelf, what do you think? Not good, right? We're going out of business, right? Or going elsewhere. Never be out of stock. I don't care if you have double facings of some other product, just do not be out of stock. So as loyal as men are, they'll come to you once if you don't have what they want. They might come to you twice. They ain't coming back the third time, folks. That's it. Who's got questions? Anybody's dog got gas or something that you need to? Yes. The question is about how to buy the media. In the trade, they call it that you own the station. I will buy 7 or 8 spots on the first day. So basically, the sales reps say, "Oh my God, he owns the station for that day." Right? And all my advertising is on that first and that third. Yep. More, yes. How do you unwind it? That's a great question, because we devalued from a $10 gift card to a $5. We grandfathered everybody who was already in it, and as they ran through their buy 12, get one, the new one was no longer buy 12, get one. So you have to grandfather everybody who's already in mid-cycle. And then when we did, we had some customers complain. Well, we just said, we either had to do that or we had to raise prices. I didn't think you wanted us raising prices. And the interesting thing is, so it's not going to be a problem for you folks. We went from a $10 gift card to a $5 gift card. We still get the same percentage of redemptions from the $5 card as we did the $10. And the average transaction dropped a little, but I'm not sending out $10. I'm only sending out $5. So I came out way ahead, and really nobody got angry. So that's how you do it. Other questions? Yes, good. This is great. Yes, ma'am. Do I have a recommendation for inventory software? I use Counterpoint for a POS system. It's by NCR. There's a million of them out there, and everybody I know who uses one hates it. Is there anybody here who uses one that loves it?
Lightspeed.
What is it? Oh, you got Lightspeed. You got the new one. You love it?
I love it.
You did. That's the Apple one, right?
The Apple, very
the Apple one, Lightspeed. Perfect. Yes. Yep. This is what I learned. Very costly mistake. I actually, if I was going to do this again, I would hire someone who is a consultant to come in. I would make a list of everything I want. I would hire someone who's a consultant to come in and help me pick out the right software. Because I guarantee you, whatever software person you talk to, their software does it all. I would not ever get POS, point of sale software, unless it had an inventory tracking and a customer tracking, which they all do. Yes, sir. Yeah. Right. Right. The question is, he goes into a Hallmark store, because just look at him, he's a sensitive guy, he's always buying cards for his wife. And it takes forever to get, they say, do you want the card? And there's a line. You can have a kiosk in your store, or a little place, or a little, you can do it on a tablet. Here's the important part though. This is really interesting. You always want to collect the data from the first time a customer comes in. The more often you stay in touch with a new customer, the more likely you are to cement a long-term relationship. So you want to capture that first one. Is it okay if we go a little over? Let's go. Okay, we're here till 4, boys and girls. Shoot. Yes, the two statements that all employees, including yourselves, should sign. Number one, I understand my main job, no matter what I was hired for, is to make sure the customers have such a great experience, they tell all their friends to shop here. Number two, this is a hard one for bosses. I understand I'm empowered to solve problems on the spot. And just if you're thinking, oh my God, my guys are going to give away the store, have you ever been out anywhere where someone comes up to you and says, geez, I was in your store and I had a great experience, Bob treated me really well? Would you ever get angry at Bob no matter what he did? No. It doesn't happen. Yeah? Yes, sir.
Just a point on that.
Just a point, yeah.
Is that if you're keystoning something,
Yes.
you have to replace it for them.
Yeah.
You're not actually out any money, and it's advertising.
Everyone get that? If you're in Keystone and you have to replace something, you're really not out of money, and it's great advertising, which is really important with Facebook now. Huge. Yes, sir. Microsoft Excel will, what is it, fill in the gaps. So you need to get, I don't know how many of you know how to do Excel. Here's where I am in the computer world. There's Microsoft Excel, and I'm sort of Microsoft retard. So I can't do that so well, but yes, and that's where the community college comes in, where you get someone to come in and do it for you. Come on, we're on a roll. Who's it? This side of the table is very quiet. Yes, sir. Yes. How do we deal with abusive customers? How many abusive customers do you think you have? A few. And you don't make any money on them? If you still make money on them, keep quiet. If you don't make money on them, fire them. But here's the deal. You're the only one that can fire a customer. Nobody else in your store can fire a customer except for you. You kick their ass out of the store. Yeah, they'll go to the competitor. Right, you know what? Give them a gift. Give them a gift certificate to your competitor. Let them torture that guy. Yes, sir. What do I think? Well, I love large packages. That's going to be part of my, hopefully you'll come back for the second presentation. Love them. We'll go through all that. You're going to have to come back. Because if I tell you now, I'll have to shoot you. Next, more. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, sir. The website for the tablet is LOCK, LOC card.com. It's fabulous. I have nothing to do with it. I'm involved in a buy local, community thing, and that's what they're pushing. Yes, sir, back there. Yeah, question about the rewards program. The question is there an advantage to doing $5 or $10 versus a percentage? It's just easier for most systems to track it with a set amount. And that way I know it's costing me only an X amount of money, because it's after you spend $300, it's costing me $5. More. Oh, okay, make me run. I got a bad knee, Where are we? I love this. This is great. You guys are a great group. Give yourselves a hand. You guys are good. Yes, sir. How do we deal with the customer that we know is making the wrong purchase? So I'm in the animal business. Let me think about this. In our world, my employees are empowered not to sell a hamster or a gerbil to someone if they don't think it's the right fit. So in your world, if I'm struggling with if it's the wrong cigar or the wrong humidor, or yeah, and then picks out something you know. You know what? So the question is, the customer comes in, wants a mild cigar, and picks up the most pepper-laced cigar in the history of the world. You just have to tell them, listen, this is the mild cigar. You're on your own. That's all you can do.